Welcome to the Cerebral Palsy Perspective, an optimistic look at life, movement, and doing hard things our way. I'm Chad Williams, and I'm here with my co-host, Daryl Perry.
It's a well-oiled machine, and we're getting ready to tell them how it all works.
Yeah, you and I, we've both shared our stories at this point, and as we start to have more guests join us on the podcast, I was thinking about something important. I think today we should talk about sharing your story, but doing it on your terms, which is kind of the format of our show. Sharing is not an obligation. You get to choose what you want to share, and you get to share it in your way. And while nobody owes an explanation, you don't owe your story. You don't have to share it, but there's a lot of benefits that come with doing that. You create connection with people, visibility, representation, that all matters. Your story can inspire someone. I know that for me, I feel like I've told it several times now, but I started sharing my story from your podcast, and by doing so, it's opened up so much for me. Meaningful conversations with parents and other people in the CP community. And now I have this whole platform. I mean, we have this podcast, the scholarship that I talked about in a previous episode, all these different things that I wouldn't have had if I didn't take that first step to share my story. And, I've mentioned, like I said, I mentioned it a bunch of times how I've shared it, but I don't think I've ever heard how you got to start sharing your story, what that looked like and how that felt for you. So if you're interested, I think it would be interesting to hear how that kind of started for you.
Yeah. So it was, I like that we're talking about people sharing their stories because it truly is. There's no rules. There's no right way of doing it. There's your way. And we talk about doing hard things our way, and sharing your story is hard. Like, it's terrifying the first time you do it. I had a lot of mixed feelings about sharing my whole story around cerebral palsy. I started a podcast, which was terrifying to begin with, because it's like, what do I have to talk about? Am I going to run out of stuff and all that? But I was doing kind of a short, almost daily podcast, and then I'm over 100 episodes in. In fact, it's episode 125 on that podcast, and we do have the Spotify link for that episode in there. I just talked about my cerebral palsy story, and what I do remember about that was, once I did it, I now would have something. If somebody asked me what my story was, what I would do is I would just Google my name and cerebral palsy, and it would come up, and I'd send them the Spotify link, and they could listen to it. So, but yeah, it was, at first I had mixed feelings about doing it. I was a little anxious about doing it. But then once I did it, it is very empowering. Because again, you set the tone and you set the delivery for the story. And I think for a lot of us in our lives, especially when it comes to CP specifically, we don't always feel like we're in control of it. So in this case, like sharing the story, like you said, there's no obligation, but you never know what this is gonna, like, you never know what any of this is gonna lead to. I told you in a conversation we had, like, I used to record podcast episodes in my car. I used to be scared to interview people because I thought I would talk over them or interrupt them or whatever. And then once I started interviewing people, like, it's just conversations. And then that has led to, like, so many conversations that I've been a part of that are recorded that people can check out. And it's just like, you never know. So I think that's the coolest thing about us having guests on, is for many of them, it's a win-win. You're either coming on here, you've shared your story before, and you're getting in front of some new people that have probably never heard it, or this might be the first time that you've shared anything about yourself. So I think the fact that we're like, hey, whatever you're comfortable with sharing, whatever you want to talk about, like, we're here. This platform that's really what it's here for. Because while you and I can come on here and talk about stuff every week, I think we get the most enjoyment from sharing other people's perspective about this, about their life.
Yeah, Absolutely. And I think, that really highlights what's important about our show is, everyone comes on and tells their story their own way, uh, their own timeline,
Mhm.
and we approach it in a way that, the guest, as a guest, you'll come on and you'll share whatever you want to share, whatever you're comfortable with. There's no pressure, there's no expectation. It's an open conversation, a space to share what you're working on and what you have coming up. There's it can be intimidating. There's a lot of feelings that can come with going on a podcast and putting yourself out there. But I think the approach that we take, it takes a lot out of that. It's just we're two guys that have CP as well, and we've shared our story. We've been open and honest about all these different aspects, and we're allowing you to come on and do the same in an environment that we hope is a comfortable environment. So hopefully that'll lead people to, want to come on.
Yeah, and I think as we've done this, and I kind of joked about it at the beginning that you're going to get to hear our system and how we do it. But I mean, you and I have actually talked through some things, and we do have a system for when people want to come on and tell their story.
Yeah, I think, we'll put some information in the show notes. But if you're interested in being a guest, if you have something, that you're working on that you want to share, or you just want to come on and share your story, you don't necessarily have to have some big thing in the works or something down the line. Maybe you just want to come in, open up what you're dealing with and what you're going through, and share that with other people. You can do that. But reach out to me on social media or by email. We'll have that information in the show notes. I'll get back to you and we'll figure out a time that works for you. We tend to record on Fridays in the afternoon. So we'll set up a time that works, and then Daryl will send you the information for the episode, the invite. Between the two of us, everything will be coordinated, and you'll come on and we'll have a nice open conversation and see where it leads for you.
Yeah, and we really do. One, as far as what I mean, from the time somebody talks to you and you coordinate a time, you and I kind of work things out on the back end, and then I get the email invite out. We give you the link for the show. Basically, all you got to do is at the time you click the link, you come on to the platform that we use. We use StreamYard to record, and we have a conversation. I mean, Chad does all the we talk about things ahead of time, but like he does all the prep for the questions, and that's another benefit of people reaching out to you is like you've already got the context of the conversation for them, and then you do your process for prep. But yeah, we really have this set up to where people can come on and talk, and we haven't talked about this in this particular conversation, but like it doesn't have to be just a one-time thing. It's like you said. I mean, you can come on and talk with us. We can always figure it out, and we schedule things and move episodes around, so it's not like people are going to hear you 2 weeks in a row or 2 out of 3 weeks. But it's really just like we want to take as much pressure as we can off people that either haven't shared their story with our audience or haven't shared their story in general. Like we want to get your message out there. We want to get your story out there.
Yeah. And you mentioned multiple episodes, and I think, that makes me think of our first guest, Zach. He came on to talk about one particular thing. He's sharing his story. He's telling us about his running journey and the different things that he's worked through. And by the end of the conversation, I'm like, wait a second, we could have had a whole episode about this last part that you didn't even mention. He went off to mention all these other incredible things that he's done. And I'm like, that could have been an episode, and that could have been
he's an iceberg. I mean, we could honestly start an entire weekly podcast where we just have Zach on and he talks about all the stuff that he does.
Yeah.
I mean, published author, multi-time marathon runner, like just he and the cerebral palsy vigilante stuff that he does. I mean, he does everything, has done what I would consider everything.
Yeah.
And just really does everything in his way. So no, I'm yeah, there's so many conversations that we can have, but like the cool thing is for any of you that are listening, we can have multiple conversations regardless of if you've tried to share your story somewhere before or you haven't. You never know where this could lead. It may just be, hey, I had a conversation about my story on the podcast with these guys, and that's it, and that's perfect. It may end up being something else entirely. You may decide, oh, I really am comfortable doing this. That's actually one thing that I think is really important in life is just like, you never know what something's going to lead to. So, your expectations might, might even be too small. So try not to have expectations.
Yeah. I'm certain that if I wouldn't have been a guest on your podcast and had the comfort level that I did with your approach, I wouldn't have taken that further to like, all these people are reaching out to me, and that was comfortable. And like, wow, you had that takeaway from listening to my story, and you want to hear about, people wanted to hear like, oh, how do you do this or that, or what are your thoughts on all at once? And I'm like, I'm just over here trying to do my thing, but you don't realize how many other people you could inspire or motivate just by coming on. And
because like, I mean, and it's
powerful.
funny, for each of us, we just think about it as our day to day.
Yeah,
but there is so much. I remember conversations where we have talked about our prep for exercise and activity, and yours is different than mine, and mine is different than yours. And when you have two active guys with CP sharing these like prep stories, and we're both like, wow, that's what you do. I never thought about that. I'm gonna have to try that. So like for anybody listening, like you don't know what's going to resonate with somebody, and every part of your story is important because it's unique to you. So anybody listening wants to come on, we're ready for you. Bring it on.
Yeah. I hope this conversation to our approach and how we do things, I hope that gives people a comfort level to want to come on. And if they haven't shared their story in the past, take that first step. And if you have and you're working on different things, come on and share them with us. I hope it helps people do that. And if so, reach out, and I'll be happy to have a conversation and get back to you. And Daryl and I'll coordinate, and we'd love to have you on.
Plenty of stories to share. So, but no, I'm excited. I think this podcast has done what we had hoped, which was going to be you and I sharing our perspective, and then it's gone above and beyond that with all the guests requests that we had. Some requests were coming in like even before the first episode came out. Which was cool.
Yeah.
So
you threw like a little teaser out on social media, and you like, hey, Chad and I are working on this, and like that night people are DMing me like, I want to come on. And it's like, we're still trying to figure this out, but we'll find a spot for you. And so it's great that it's resonated with people, and there are people reaching out, and we've got people that we've got to get back to. But as we start to do that, we just wanted to share our approach in hopes that it would give people an idea how we do things, and help with their comfort level as well to come forward.
Yeah. So check the info in the show notes, guys. And then, if you want to listen to my CP story, it is it's linked up in the show notes, the Spotify link. So check that out. And we can't wait to share your stories.
Sounds good. Thanks, Daryl.
Thanks, Chad. We'll do it again soon.